Okay, hi.
Hello. I won't look in the camera, I'll look at you guys. Okay, so my name's Jonathan, as you know, and I'm currently in the tour of Billy Elliot the Musical, which is at the Hippodrome for another week. I've been here for 5 weeks in total, and then we go to Manchester for 9 weeks. I want to be here for another 9 weeks. Yeah, so I started off, I'm from this area, I'm from Gloucestershire, a place called Berkeley, if anyone's ever heard of that, sort of north of Bristol. And I went to school...
So can I just ask, what's your full name, John?
Oh, Jonathan Alden, which was a stage name.
Okay.
I've got a different name from real life.
Okay, cool. That might have sparked a question in some people's minds. And before you start giving us your story, I think some of the questions might link to that. So
Great.
Charlie might become redundant if you tell us it all.
No,
now.
that's
So
good.
Charlie, first question, please.
Okay.
Where did you start? Like, how did you get to where you are now?
Well, my school was only 250 students in the whole school. I think you got like 1,600 here or something like that. So it's very small, and they were just really big on doing productions. And the music teacher and drama teacher were great, and we did things like Oh What a Lovely War and Bugsy Malone, which was my first one when I was like 11, and then Grease. And my teacher said to me, I want you to sing, I want you to play Fagin in Oliver. And I said, no, I don't sing, I don't do that. And she said, took me to the music room and said, do it. And I did it, and I really loved it. So then I went to Filton College here in Bristol. I did a BTEC National Diploma in Performing Arts for 2 years. And then I went on to do a HND, which was a school called the Bristol Academy of Performing Arts, which was here, which no longer exists, I think. But we did that, and then I sort of took a little bit of time just to living in the normal world, as they call it. And then I went to drama school, went to Guildford School of Acting. So I auditioned for that for a postgrad course, and I only had 2 months to get £10,000 up together. Yeah, that's my face as well. I was like, how much? Okay. And so I deferred my place that year, and then I went back and auditioned for the 3-year course on a scholarship, got that, did a year, and then ran out of money again, so then left and did a year working in an office on the phones for a healthcare company. And then I went back and started again and did 3 years and got my degree. And then I graduated and Showcase, got an agent from Showcase, and then started auditioning and got my shows. Well, I won't go too far into that because there might be more questions about that. So, but that's how I got into it. So I didn't go the conventional route of some people go like 18, go straight into drama school, and then they're out by 21 and doing it. I went a bit of a different sort of snaking route, just from where I was from and the opportunities I had there. But there's lots of different ways into it. It's not just one kind of, you have to go to drama school, you have to be a stage school that you can do. There's people, I've done shows, I did the Les Mis tour, and there was about 3 or 4 people in there who'd never even trained. They got open auditions, they did it, and they were doing it, and they were brilliant, So you don't think you have to, if you don't get into the big drama school, it's not the end of the end of the world, especially nowadays.
You had a question?
Yeah, what do you play in Billy Elliot? Do you dance it?
Yeah, I'm the big ballet. No, I'm not. No, not at all. No, I played Big Davy, and he's kind of like the featured minor. So they got the Billy Elliot family, the dad, the brother, the nan, and the dead mum, and Billy. And
Can you explain what the difference between the featured minor and the minor is?
Yes. Well, it's set against the miners' strike in 1984. So there's all the cast play miners or policemen, but I kind of Big Davy's like the kind of featured minor in the sense that he's got the sort of most of the lines, and I open the show with the openings, and so the other minors have lines. I'm sort of in all the sort of integral scenes. I'm sort of like within that sort of friend of the family and that sort of thing. So when I say featured minor, I'm kind of featured more than sort of just. I'm not like a nondescript minor.
So there's like minor is basically chorus, and
Yeah.
featured minor is like.
No, a minor as in a coal miner.
Yeah, I know, but
All right.
when you're saying like the minors, I assume when you say the minors, that's just a group of people.
Yeah, so there's miners and there's police officers, and then there's like the women and the children of the village.
And then the featured ones of those.
Yeah, so most miners are when they cast the ensemble playing miners, they don't necessarily have the name. I'm Big Davy, so I've actually got like Big Davy lines, whereas they've got like little ad-libs and things in it, and they play other characters, other characters as well within that. But yeah, that's the best way of describing who sort of featured minor really is. So. Probably not very well explained, but that's what it is.
Question?
Why do you give out your character name and not your actual name?
As
you mean
in
my
stage
stage
name?
Yeah.
Because when you join, you can join an actors union, which is there to protect you, to make sure you're getting paid enough and you have enough breaks and all that sort of stuff, and any problems you're having, if you have injuries. And you can register your name, so that when you do shows and you do any work on TV or anything, your name is registered to you, so someone else can't take your name and then obviously sort of potentially ruin your name by doing bad work or doing something, so you have to register a stage name. So my real name was already taken, so then I went for a stage name, which was my nan's maiden name, Alden. So I've had that since I was very young. But you have to, I couldn't have, my real name's Jonathan Mackenzie, but somebody already had that, or something very similar. So it's just so you don't get too confused with who people are and stuff. But there are similar names out there.
Can you just not name you 1 and 2?
Thing 1 and thing 2.
Like John, Jonathan and 1, Jonathan 2.
Yeah, you could be, but yeah, that'd be a bit weird, though, wouldn't it? Like the latest blockbuster.
A little bit 1984.
So you're basically like a human sequel. So no, they make you have different names that you feel part of equity, because it just protects your. It's like I suppose your name is kind of like your brand, really. So if you think of Jude Law or like Tom Cruise, so you instantly know, oh, that's Tom Cruise, you know what his work is, you know who he is. It's just basically like that, Then the same with even like sports stars, they protect their image rights and their names, and sometimes it's that sort of thing. I think along that lines.
Question.
Is it how often, do you actually have work? That's not a proper question, but I mean.
No. It's a really good question because actually.
Where's Craig going? You want to get the bus? They've got to get the bus.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Carry on.
Yeah, no. Being an actor, a lot of the time is you spend your time getting work. And I've been quite lucky that I've not really been out of work for more than 6 months at a time. And when I say that, I don't mean that I've done 6 months, a year's work. I've done my first 2 jobs were 2-year-long tours back to back, which is really lucky to do that. But then I've done a month here, 3 months there, an advert, and that sort of thing. So I get some kind of work every 6 months.
When you are out of work, is it not terrifying?
It's not terrifying. No, you're going for auditions. I've got an agent, so you get sent for auditions. You're doing that, but then you do have to pay the bills. So I will say to people, if you want to go into acting, is to get some kind of skill or trade that you can do. Like for example, in our cast now, there's a guy who trained at Tony and Guy. He's a hairdresser, and when he's not acting, he's working in the wigs departments in the shows in town, or he's doing hairdressing. So he's self-sufficient, or you could be a teacher, or you could. I didn't go down that route. I just went for the acting and didn't really do asylum. So now I was working in call centres and bars and got some great experience from it. But you do get a bit kind of I don't want to get back on stage or whatever you're doing. Whereas if you can do something you've got a skill, you can charge good money for. Or even if it's just you do your own singing act or you do your own acting class or whatever it is. That's what I always advise everyone to do now, because then you can, when you aren't out of work, you're still doing your own thing, especially if you can get it linked to what you do. So if you're a good dancer or you're a good actor, you can do that. You're still learning as well as auditioning until you get your next job. So,
what's the audition process for Big Day, Featured Minor, and how competitive was it?
Very competitive. I had 7 or 8 rounds of auditions, and my housemate Rachel, who I've known for years, she trained in Bristol as well. She had 11 rounds of auditions. So the first one we went in, and there's a panel of 2 people, normally the casting director and the associate director, and I sang a song. That's all they wanted. Sang the song, and then they ask you a little bit about yourself, that sort of thing, what your skills are. There's a character. Have you seen it already? Nobody. A character called Mr. Braithwaite, which I could potentially play. But he does the splits in this song, and they said, "Can you do the splits?" And I was like, "I can, but I won't get back up again ever." And they went, "Okay, great." So almost took myself out of the running for that straight away. And then I went back and we did a dance audition. So you're doing, we had to do a lot of tapping, the policemen and the miners' solidarity sort of fighting dance. We did that and some tap routines, and then we came back and we did some acting and singing of the text in front of the main director and more. There's about 5 people on the panel at this point, maybe 6. And every time you go through, there's more and more people. So you get to a point where you've literally, because Billy Elliot's got like Universal and working title, Own It. I think the final auditions there was 15 to 20 people just sat on this massive long table, and you just feel like, it's like, and then they get you back, I got the part, and then they got me in for doing understudy stuff. They wanted to see me for that. So because I'm first cover George, which is the boxing coach, Billy's boxing coach, and second cover the dad, so Billy's dad. But they get you into doing material for that, and then you come in for like a final dance audition. They put you through your paces again and do it in smaller groups, and so it's quite full on. And as I said, there's quite a few. At the start of the audition process, there'll be a lot of people, and then they whistle it down and down. The job I did before was Rock of Ages. Have you heard of that? And I came back over a week. I think that's 4 days, getting called back, and there was so many people there. And in the end, the final audition, this is a UK audition. They did Broadway as well, and they did Germany. And I got told I was the only one left in my part, which is normally quite unusual. And I was like, oh. But I felt almost more nervous because of that. It should have been like, oh great, you're the only UK Dennis left, and I was like, oh okay. But they whittle it down. But they want you to do well. Yeah, so there's normally you're playing the part, and then there's 2 understudies, first cover and second cover. Sometimes in the West End they'll have an alternate that comes in and plays like 1 or 2 shows a week of a lead role, like Phantom or Valjean or something your name is, But yeah, it's normally 2 understudies, and then you've got things called swings. Have you heard of that? So there'll be about 5 people, normally 3 guys, 2 girls, depending on what the cast make it. It might be all girls, it might be all guys, and they're called swings, and they basically cover all the parts, all the ensemble tracks in the show, and sometimes have some understudy responsibility for the leads as well. So in our show we've got 3 guys and 2 girls, and they cover all the ensemble tracks. So if someone goes off ill, they'll come in and just cover their track. And you get a thing called swing face, where they just go like, because they need to know all the parts. So they're like, we cover our own part, and then maybe an understudy, they literally cover everything. So they'll have like hierarchy within themselves of what parts they'll cover first. But they could be in a week, they could play 8 different parts. So they've really got to be switched on. They've got like a big Bible they should write themselves of where everyone is on stage, and it's quite a full-on thing to do. But you need it because people go off ill, people get injured, and people, have breakdowns and all sorts of things. So.
And it's just like a normal job.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, someone phones in sick, and they're not really sick. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. The bell's gone.